Hello and welcome to another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Frankie welcoming you in tonight, and we're going to be talking to another very interesting student athlete that had a chance to watch on BCSN quite often, Amanda Poole, a senior from Springfield High School. Glad to have you in here. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
I always enjoy telling stories because there usually is a pretty interesting story as to how the people that come on this show ended up being asked to be on the show. And in your case, we were broadcasting, you play volleyball and basketball at Springfield, and we were broadcasting a volleyball match this year against Northview. It was a really big match, and it was really close, and it went right down to it. And you stepped up to the service line, and you must have gotten 8 or 9 aces in a row and broke the whole game open. And your enthusiasm as you got one ace after another, I think I said on the broadcast, you were like somebody who won on a game show and said, "Come on down," and you just couldn't. And it was really inspiring. And so then after the game, I think I said, "Oh, that was a great job serving," and I was told that you're interested in broadcasting.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, we got to get you on the show. What do you remember about that match?
I remember, I think that's the highest I've ever jumped in my whole entire life, to be honest.
I noted that. You got right up to the rafters just about.
I just think that it was such a rush because Northview, and it went to 5 sets, 4 sets. It was just so intense. And yeah, those aces were just a cherry on top. I was just so excited to help my team out. And aces, you don't have to do any work for that. The ball doesn't come back over.
Yeah.
So that was
well,
exciting.
You got to put it in the right place,
yeah,
and
true,
you were sure
true.
doing that. Now, I remember talking to your coach, McKenna Wrights, before that match about the players, and she said that particularly about you, is that you were really kind of serving specialist, if you will, that you were the one that they relied upon to really get a lot of points off the serve. Had you done service runs like that before, or was that kind of a personal record for you, or what?
I think Northview's a good team, so that was a lot of aces for a good team. But yeah, last year I did a lot of serving. I just am very consistent, so I think that helps.
Yeah, what were you trying to do? Were you trying to put the ball where there were float serves you were mostly doing, as I recall?
Yes.
And you were trying to put the ball in certain spots?
Yes.
How were you determining where you were going to put the ball in play when you were on that service run, do you recall?
Well, you have to look, first I look at my assistant coach, and she gives me like a number on her finger, and then I look at where she's pointing to, and it's normally either a front row player that we don't want them to hit, so we make them pass the ball, or you put it in a seam where those two players don't communicate well, so you kind of like trick them up, so it's kind of tough. But
yeah. So your basketball team's doing well again this year too,
yes.
And anticipated to be one of the better teams in the league. Have you been playing basketball and volleyball, you said, for quite a long time in both cases, right?
Yeah, I played volleyball and basketball starting in 4th grade. I had to skip 1 year of volleyball, though, because I had my ears pierced, and you're not allowed to play if you have your ears pierced.
Oh, so do you have earrings in tonight?
No, I had to. I had to.
Well,
they had to close up.
So how's your basketball team going to look this year?
I think we are going to look great because our coach is pushing us very, very hard, yelling, lots of running. But we are going to look, I think, we're going to work more as a team because we are all looking forward to the end result of winning. So I think we're going to do whatever it takes to win.
You think you can be in the mix in the NLL race?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a preference, volleyball or basketball? Or you like whichever sport's in season or what?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, during volleyball season, I'm like, oh, yeah, volleyball. During basketball season, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's basketball. But volleyball practices are fun. The whole team energy is fun. Games are fun. But like basketball, practice is really, really hard work. But the game days, the end result of winning, like that's like what you strive for, and that's like the best feeling.
Yeah, and it's one of the major sports at the school and
oh,
so
yeah,
forth.
Definitely.
So the basketball practice are a little bit more arduous and tough than the volleyball practices.
Yes.
How come?
It could be the coaching. And it could be basketball is a much more high-paced, fast, up and down the court sport, and volleyball is one set at a time. Take your time, focus. When basketball, you have no time.
Yeah. And there's the physical element. Most of the players that I've talked to that play volleyball and basketball, if they prefer volleyball, and I don't know if they admit it too readily, but they prefer to stay. The other team's on the other side of the net, and they stay there, and they like that. What about you? Do you like the physical aspect of basketball?
Maybe. I don't like it when people actually physically like try to hurt me, but if it's like a charge or something like that where I feel good about myself, then it's okay. But if you're just getting technicals and stuff like that, then it's just over.
I haven't met too many people say, yeah, I really enjoy it when they come and run over me and try to hurt me, anything. I think you're a member of a rather large sorority in that case. So I remember I had Ashley Nuding on this show, one of your volleyball teammates, and I was impressed by the fact that 2 years in a row she sang to the players on senior night. And she said how much fun it was being on the team and how everybody really got along really well and how it was a family kind of thing. Is that the way you saw it?
Definitely. I think Coach Wrights makes it a family thing no matter what. I feel like half of our practices are focused on coming together more. We learn so many things about each other. Like one of our practices during the summer, right when the season started, we sat down and just shared everything about ourselves, and that like makes a perfect foundation because without the team chemistry, it's going to be hard to play together.
And of course, her husband Greg is the head coach at Lourdes,
yeah.
And they just have the little baby. Did he ever come to your practices? And
yeah,
or she?
Carson comes and fools around, but Maddox, she's just a really chill baby. She doesn't really talk much. Well, I mean, she can't really, but she doesn't really cry much, I guess.
All the players took to her, though, right?
We all love her.
And I think everybody at all the games, they say, "Oh, look at that!"
Yeah,
and it's hard to even concentrate on the game
Yes.
anymore. That's right. So, how did you get interested in broadcasting?
It started, I always wanted to be a teacher at first, and then I realized that maybe the same thing every single day might get a little boring. So I took a career success class in my sophomore year, and for like an easy A, and I had to do a report on like what I wanted to do, and I had to take like a career aptitude test, and so I'm like trying to figure out all these things, and one of my top scores was in like the news reporter or a journalist, and so I had to research that and make a whole PowerPoint presentation about it, and I realized that it sounded so much fun, and then I had to interview somebody that like has the same career as what I was interested in, and I interviewed Megan Sanctorum, went to Starbucks, my favorite place, and she was telling me all about all the different stories she's covered, all the people that she's met, her crazy schedule, and that just sounded like so much fun.
Yeah. Well, it's often been said, I think we talked about it before, is that the best thing about this business is the fact that no 2 days are the same.
Yes.
And the worst thing about it is that no 2 days are the same
Yep.
because you can end up scrambling and having to meet deadlines and all that. What did you take away when you talked to her? What did she say about the business that kind of sticks in your mind that you remember this made an impression on me and thinking, yeah, I think this might be a good field for me?
I think when she said that one time she was working like a night shift or something, and then the next week her shift got changed to another one. She's like, I just never knew what I was going to cover, and she never knew what story she was going to get handed, and one time she would get a really interesting one or a boring one or just one that maybe she never knew about, so she found more information about it. I just think the whole unexpected, I don't know the word. Just
yeah, well, and I'll tell you this, the so-called boring ones, there's always something interesting
Yes.
in any story. And that's the key, is to find that, and that curiosity of a good reporter can make anything quite interesting.
Yeah.
And I think you're the type that can do that. Now, you're going to be attending Michigan State University, so
I am.
now you say there was no pressure involved, but you do have sort of a family tradition with that, right?
Yeah, both my mom and my dad went there. My dad graduated from there, and he's just really big on the sports, football and basketball, all MSU.
I guess he was
Go
pretty
Green.
happy after that Michigan game and that Ohio State game this year.
Oh my
huh?
goodness, that was amazing.
He was probably pretty glum at the Michigan game right until the last play anyway.
Yeah. It was not a fluke. We are a good team.
Yes.
That's what he wants me to say. But yeah, no pressure
Duly noted.
whatsoever.
You said that.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, no pressure, not exactly, but he's just very happy that I'm going there. And Megan Sanctorum, the girl I interviewed, she told me that she went there, graduated from there, and she said that they have a really nice program. So I was like, maybe it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. What are some other interests that you have that maybe people don't know about? I'm giving you this opportunity to tell about the music composition, right?
Oh, goodness, yes. I do play the piano to some extent, and I do write songs to some extent. They're not anywhere to be seen or shown, but it's for my own personal hobby, I guess. I like to.
If you listen to the tapes of the Beatles' first compositions, they were nothing to write home about, and look what happened with them. You never know.
Who knows?
So maybe Ashley could sing them.
Yes,
You
there
can
we
write
go.
and Ashley can sing, and you can get a little combo going there.
Maybe.
Huh? And we can even broadcast it
There we
someday.
go. There we go. That's the plan.
Well, I think that you typically can size people up that are interested in this business, and you might be able to say in your mind, it might be not a bad idea if you would think about some other career professions, but I think that you've got what it takes to be very, very good in this business. That smile is certainly a good part of it, and you're very personable, and I think that you have an awareness of a lot of things that can certainly help you out as you pursue the career. And I hope we can keep in touch, and we'll do everything for
definitely.
you that we can as well. Thanks a lot for joining us here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
That is Amanda Poole, senior volleyball and basketball player for Springfield High School. And that'll do it for another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Franke saying so long.